Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, we really are having a strange beginning to winter with such warmer weather, not a lot of snowfall, and it's really affected our fishing. Normally, we would be ice fishing, or at least beginning to by now, but the conditions aren't really safe because when you have extended periods of warm weather, it's not allowing that ice to really form. And if it does form, it melts again and it becomes very, very unsafe. But this week, I wanted to do something a little different, something that I guess people have always said to me, you know, you should write a book from all your experiences. Well, my experiences have been highlighted primarily, even though all my experiences have been about going fishing, the highlights have always been what I've discovered and observed when I go fishing. All the different places around the continent that I've gone, what I really remember is really different things that happened other than just the fish I caught. I can't remember a lot of the fish that I caught. That isn't what stands out. And so this week, I want to talk about some of those things. And I'll start with a time up in the Arctic. And I had a lot of trips up to the Arctic. But a few years ago, there were massive, massive herds of caribou. And they'd have their annual migration. And I was lucky enough on some of my fishing trips to be able to see these caribous. And we'd be out in the water fishing and we'd be looking up and we'd see just almost armies long of caribou following one another on their trek. And I remember my camera guy at the time, Jay, said to me one day, he said, Don, you know, after we finish fishing today, I could go up on that hill and try to get shots of the caribou. And I said, well, Jay, I'll go up with you. And we did, and we got ahead of where the caribou were coming. We knew the sort of the trek that they took, and so we got ahead of them. There was hardly any cover. There weren't any trees or anything. And I said, you know what, Jay? If I get down here in the middle of this track, I'm just going to hunch down like I'm a rock or something. And if you could get way back and try to film what happens. And this was naivety on my part. I didn't have a clue what was going to happen. So here I am in the track, and I see these great big bulls coming. And they get to me, and I'm all huddled down with my head down, and they start sniffing me. And I'm telling you, a big male caribou is a lot bigger than you can imagine, and to have them hovering above you and sniffing you was something that my nerves actually couldn't take. I started giggling of all things, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what Jay was capturing, and I didn't know what these caribou were going to do. And I will remember that. Eventually, they decided, well, whatever this hump of stuff on the trail isn't much interest to us. It isn't lichen. It isn't anything we can eat. So let's go on and see what we can find around the corner. That's basically what must have happened. And they left. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't ever tell people the feelings that were going through me at this moment. You know, I went from giggling to absolute wonder. What have I just experienced? I'll bet you hardly anybody's experienced something like this. It may have been stupid, and some of the other memories I have, it really appears that I was less intelligent than I wish I was. But anyway, this is something I'll always remember. I don't know the fish we caught that day. I can't remember that, but I remember those giant caribou. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.